You mentioned running around there with James Topp. I'll pull up this photo. And this you caught while you were, it looks like probably in BC with James Topp. Can you explain this photo and what your experience was like on his team?
Yeah. Okay. So we'll talk about the picture first. Now, it's unfortunate because this picture actually, it really deserves to be blown up, like really big. And like we said, you don't really have a zoom. But here, okay, so we've got James Topp and the crew marching on the highway. And this is actually the Snowbirds training team. And the Snowbirds are like the stunt team for Canadian Air Force, who do just like the guys who were jumping out, the parachute guys, Skyhawks. These guys do that, but with planes. It's like a PR team, and this is their training team. So these 4 propeller-driven planes were flying in formation, and they had flown over us the day before. So I guess they knew James was coming through, and they went looking for him on the highway as part of their training. And the next day they came back, and there was 4 of them. And this shot is a perfect example of physical fitness, because this is my 85. I saw them coming, and I could see that they were going to intersect with the sun, which is a really, really cool background because it's going to be blown out. But apart from the whole sky, it's like a perfect point of focus. And it's a frame inside of a frame, right? But I was kind of out of position to get James in the frame. So I saw it coming, and I sprinted basically as hard as I could. And I was laying on the ground taking this picture, because as you can see, these planes are moving fast as well. So I had to get on the ground to get James in the frame. But then I also had to be able to squeeze the planes into the sun's framing. And James is pointing at the planes. So if you were to see this in a really big frame, the mountains provide the stability and the foundation of structure. You can see their feet just barely, which I think is really important in a photograph, because it gives reference to where they are standing. Maybe they're on a pile of dirt. You don't know. And because you don't know, the brain will make up its own assumptions, or it will just make the photograph feel incomplete. So you can see me as low as I can. I have just a tiny little bit of frame with their feet showing. And James is pointing at the planes. So there's a direction. Even if you were to look at James first, he is pointing at the special part of the photograph. Right. And if you were to blow it up to 100% crop, you can actually see like the planes really clearly. So this picture will deserve to be printed really big someday. And this is one of my favorite pictures of all time, for sure. It's amazing. Just really special. And the team was really amazing. I mean, as with photojournalism, I believe that, a photo can change people's perspective. And I joined James Topp team because I know my photographic talents. I'm like, he's doing something that I think is really good. And it's a good strategy to actually have a very prolonged protest. Like if Ottawa's Freedom Convoy only lasted 1 weekend, it does not have the same effect as prolonged, sustained protest. And James's was prolonged, sustained protest for 6 months, essentially. So I just showed up to bring attention, because if somebody doesn't see it on the first month, they actually have 3 months later to figure it out, and it's still active. So that's what I did, and the team was really good, and what James did was really good. I was just talking. I really want to find General Wayne Iyer in public and go, "Oh, hey, General Wayne, what are the physical feats? What are some of the physical feats of some soldiers, recently? Have you been to the marathons and this? Can you bring one up? Oh yeah, I was at the triathlon. Our soldiers did great. Well, what about James Topp, who marched all the way across the country? Why didn't you bring that up? Oh my gosh. If I ever catch him in public, that's what I'm going to do. So,
do you know how many pairs of shoes at the end of the day James went through on that whole trip?
Yeah. So the thing is, he didn't actually blow through every pair of shoes, but I think he did end up buying 15 or 16 pairs of shoes and boots, because like the thing is each shoe will provide a different feel. And when you're doing 40 kilometers a day, your feet, they get bloody, sorry, not bloody, but they expand inside the shoe. And then, you're marching another 5K, and you can switch up the sensation that you're getting on your feet by putting on a different pair of shoes. So he was rotating through, 3 or 4 pairs of shoes a day. Not that he had to get a new pair of shoes when the one's soles wore out. He had to get a new pair of shoes just to change the sensation on his feet, because that's all he was doing, like 9, 10, 12 hours a day he's marching. So he accumulated 15 pairs of shoes. I don't know how many he actually like blew through, but 15, 16 pairs.
Those things belong in a museum.
I went through 1 pair. I wore the same pair of shoes the whole time, and they're ground down. I still